Renting versus buying abroad. What immigrants should know: moving abroad is a big decision, and one of the most important choices immigrants must make is deciding whether to rent a home or buy one in their new country. This choice can affect your financial stability, your immigration status, and your long-term comfort. Whether you are moving for work, study, family, or lifestyle change, understanding the differences between renting and buying in a foreign country is critical for building a safe and secure future. Renting is often the first option for many new immigrants. It is flexible, less financially demanding upfront, and allows you to learn about your new environment before making long-term commitments. When you arrive in a new country, you may not yet be familiar with the best neighborhoods, the cost of living, the transportation system, or the local culture. Renting gives you the freedom to explore different areas before deciding where to settle permanently. It also means you are not tied down to a property that may later turn out to be in a location that does not suit your lifestyle or job situation. Another key benefit of renting is that it is often easier and faster to secure than buying. Many landlords allow you to rent with just a work contract, proof of income, or a student visa. You do not always need permanent residency or citizenship to rent a house or apartment. Renting is also more forgiving if your plans change suddenly. If you lose your job or decide to move to another city or country, it is much easier to end a rental agreement than to sell a house, especially in a foreign real estate market where you may not fully understand the legal and financial rules. Renting also reduces your responsibilities. In most countries, landlords are responsible for repairs, property taxes, and maintenance. As a tenant, you pay your monthly rent and utilities and focus on settling into your new country without worrying about home ownership stress. For immigrants who are just starting their life abroad and are still navigating work, immigration documents, language, and culture, renting can be a more peaceful way to transition. However, renting also has limitations. When you rent, you are building no equity. Every rent payment you make helps your landlord build wealth, not you. You may also face regular rent increases, restrictions on how you can decorate or use the space, and the risk that your landlord may decide to sell the property or not renew your lease. Renting long-term can end up being more expensive than buying depending on the country you are in, especially if you plan to stay for many years. Buying a home abroad, on the other hand, gives you stability, ownership, and the chance to build long-term wealth. When you own a property, you are no longer dependent on a landlord and you have full control over your living space. You can make renovations, rent out rooms, or use the home as a long-term investment. In some countries, owning property can even help your immigration journey by strengthening your application for permanent residency or citizenship. In many European and Latin American countries, for example, foreigners are allowed to buy property and use it as part of a residency by investment program. If you are planning to settle in that country for good, owning a home shows strong ties to the community and can improve your legal status over time. In other cases, buying a home might be cheaper than renting in the long run, especially if interest rates are low and you can secure a mortgage. However, buying a home abroad is not always simple. It requires a large upfront investment, including down payment, legal fees, taxes, and other costs that can add up quickly. You must also navigate a foreign real estate system that may be very different from what you are used to in your home country. If you do not speak the local language or do not have trusted contacts in the real estate or legal industry, it can be risky. There are also countries where foreigners face restrictions on buying property, or where owning property does not necessarily give you immigration rights. One of the biggest mistakes new immigrants make is rushing into buying property without fully understanding the local market. Real estate scams, poor construction, bad locations, and complex legal problems can cost you everything you have saved. If you plan to buy abroad, always work with a licensed agent, a trusted lawyer, and be ready to do months of research and due diligence. Never assume that what works in your home country will work the same way in another country. Another factor to consider is how long you plan to stay. If your plan is to live in the country for only 2 or 3 years, then buying may not be worth the effort or cost. But if you plan to stay for 10 years or more, especially with family, then buying a home may be a smart and strategic move. Homeownership can provide a sense of belonging and security that helps your family settle in and build roots. Your job status and financial stability also matter. If your income is uncertain or if your residency is temporary, it may be better to rent first until your situation becomes more stable. On the other hand, if you have secured long-term employment, permanent residency, and a strong financial base, then buying may offer you better value and peace of mind. You also need to consider your age and family needs. A young student or digital nomad may prefer to rent for flexibility, while a family with children may prefer the security and control of owning their own home. Retirees may look for property in peaceful and affordable countries with good healthcare, while single professionals may prefer renting in city centers close to work and entertainment. Another important consideration is taxes. Homeownership comes with property taxes, capital gains taxes, and other ongoing financial responsibilities. Some countries give tax benefits to homeowners, while others may increase your tax burden. Always talk to a tax advisor or accountant before buying property abroad to understand how it will affect your income, savings, and long-term plans. Whether you rent or buy also depends on your immigration goals. If you are in the country on a temporary visa, then renting may be the better option until your legal status becomes more permanent. But if the country offers pathways to residency or citizenship through investment or homeownership, then buying a home can help you qualify faster. Again, it depends on the specific immigration laws of the country you are moving to. In summary, renting is best for flexibility, quick relocation, and low responsibility, especially if you are new to the country or still figuring things out. Buying is better for long-term stability, investment, and control. If you are confident in your decision to settle in that country and have the legal and financial capacity to own property, the key is to be realistic about your goals, timeline, finances, and legal status. Talk to professionals, study the local housing market, learn about your rights as a tenant or homeowner, and take your time before making any decision. Do not let pressure or emotion rush you into renting or buying before you are fully prepared. Have questions about the video or need clarity? Book a one-on-one session. Full info in the description box.